Hey everybody, how you doing? And in this video, we're going to be covering another Cater Sanctuary deck. The third option that you have if you do not want to run Bastion or you do not want to play Venom. Pardon me, Phantom Blaster Dragon, and that is Hexaorb Sorceress. I have not covered this deck yet. I decided to slap it together because if you watched my Dragonic Overlord deck profile, I explained my thoughts on the Phantom Blaster Dragon deck profile on Phantom Blaster Dragon deck for Overdress. And then as for Bastion, I'm just not ready to commit to Bastion yet. I want more support. I want more defensive options for that deck. It can hit like a tank if you draw the right pieces and it catches your opponent off guard and they can't really do anything to your field. But that deck is just way too high risk for me. So, and I think the Hexaorb deck is actually a lot better than Bastion in my opinion, at least with only 2 sets in so far. I expect Bastion will be getting a lot better in the future, so I'm looking forward to that, and we'll see where he goes. And you can expect to see probably a future deck profile of Bastion, but unfortunately it's not going to be right now. So, obviously, we're going to start with the ride line. We got our standard starter. Then we got Tier Square Sorceress. Tier Square Sorceress, her ability is when this unit is rode upon by Pentagon Sorceress, you can counterblast 1 to draw a card. And then when your drive check reveals a trigger, you can counterblast 1 to select one of your opponent's front row rear guards and put it on the bottom of their deck. So, you can really screw with Trickstar players with this card, and it can really just it can mess with anybody, especially, but it really screws with Trickstar players. Then we play the Pentagon Sorceress. Pentagon, when this unit is rode upon by Hexaorb, you get to look at the top 3 cards of your deck and put one of them in, and put them on top of your deck in any order. And then her other ability is when this unit is placed on the rear guard, you can look at the top card of your deck and put it on the top or the bottom of your deck. If it's put on the bottom of the deck, she receives 2,000 power. So when you ride Hexaorb on her, you can pretty much set up your first twin drive, which is nice. And then obviously we have Hexaorb. So Hexaorb, her abilities are auto. When your drive check reveals a trigger unit, you get to choose one of your rear guards, and it gives 10,000 power. So anytime you reveal a trigger unit, you're going to get to assign 2 10,000 power ups. So very nice. And then her other skill is once per turn, if you Persona Road this turn, Counterblast 1, Soul Blast 1, reveal up to 1 critical trigger or 1 front trigger from your hand, put it on top of your deck, and this unit gets drive +1 until end of turn. So if you know how to manipulate your deck, you can possibly get at least 2 triggers guaranteed, which is really nice. So I am going to quit throwing things. Possibly. So obviously we're playing our Cater Sanctuary over trigger. Then we're playing 6 critical triggers. 4 copies of our new front trigger from set 2, the one that acts as a 20k shield when you're at grade 3. 1 additional front trigger. And 4 heal triggers. I like just having the front triggers in this deck especially. Mainly because of Hexaorb's ability. Because if you reveal a front trigger, basically one unit's going to gain 20k and the others are going to gain 10. So it's the front triggers work really well in this deck. So that's why I play more fronts in this deck. Grade 1s, we're playing our 4 perfect guards with the ability to play them without any cost if we meet the hand size requirement. Next we play 4 copies of Die Glass Sorceress. Pentagon Sorceress. Her ability is auto. When this unit is placed on rearguard from your hand, if your vanguard is Hexaorb Sorceress or Pentagon Sorceress, you can counterblast one and discard a card from your hand. Look at the top 2 cards of your deck, choose up to two units from among them, then call them to rearguard and put the rest on the bottom of your deck in any order. So you can use this to help build up your field, which is nice. Next, we're playing 3 copies of Tier Square Sorceress. This is just because her ability to tuck your opponent's rearguards to the bottom of their deck is really effective. This can work out against a lot of decks. You could do it, like I mentioned when we went over the ride line, it really messes with Trickstar players. You can use it to tuck grade 2 units that gain extra shield, like the grade 2 for Battle Princesses. You can use this to just get rid of some key units that your opponent might have, and force them to either play another copy of it or have to draw back into it some way. So she's just a good card to me. She's a good defensive field control option. And then I play 2 copies of Divine Sister Tartine. So Tartine, her ability is when this unit is placed on rearguard, you can Soul Blast one and rest this unit. Look at 2 cards from the top of your deck. Choose one among them and choose 1 card from among them and put it on top of your deck, and then put the rest on the bottom of your deck in any order. So she is kind of like a less good version of Battle Sister Mocha? No, not Mocha. Whichever Battle Sister, it was a grade 1 that when you called it, you got to look at the top card of your deck and either leave it on the top or the bottom. Coco. She's basically a little worse version of Coco, but she is still decent. So she is probably not going to be around much longer. She'll probably get replaced by something in set 3. Next, we're going to grade 2s. We're playing 4 copies of Exquisite Knight Ulwain. Ulwain is a new grade 2 unit that we got in set 2, and he is actually very, very good. His abilities are, when this unit is placed on rearguard, if your vanguard is Hexaorb Sorceress, Soul Blast 1. Look at 2 cards from the top of your deck. Choose up to 2 cards from among them, put them on top of your deck in any order, and then put the rest on the bottom of your deck in any order. So you can use this guy to essentially stack your triple drive on your Hexaorb Persona Ride turns and pretty much guarantee 3 triggers if you do it right. So that's really good. And then his other ability is when your drive check reveals a unit, you can counterblast 1 to give him 10,000 power. So there's that. And then lastly, we play 3 copies of Pentagon Sorceress. Pentagon Sorceress, we already covered her in the ride line, but as a rear guard, if you call her, you get to look at the top card of your deck, so you get to check again. If you put it on the bottom, she gets 2,000 power. If you put it on top, then she doesn't get it. But if you put it on the bottom, she becomes 12k. So there's that. She could be cut for something else, but she's probably going to be cut, honestly, from the main board. Once the next set comes, and just be in the ride line. So, obviously, for the grade 3s, we're playing our other 3 copies of Hexaorb Sorceress for our Persona rides. We've already covered her. Next, we're playing 4 copies of a card that was designed for Bastion, but also does really well in this deck, and that is Knight of War Damage Fasado. So, Fasado is, one, he's really good because he has... this unit cannot be chosen by your opponent's card effects, so he has resist, basically. Trickstars and Draconic Overlord can't blow him up. Snow cannot imprison him, so he's a pretty good rearguard option. And then his other ability is when his attack hits, you can soul charge 1 and counter charge 1. So he gives you also some resource replenishment, which is nice. And then for the last grade 3, we play 3 copies of Divine Sister Lepisto. Lepisto she may only be a common, but she slaps. Her ability on rearguard is whenever your drive check reveals a trigger unit, you can counterblast 2 to restand her and she gets plus 5,000 until end of turn. So on Persona Ride turns, she's going to be 23. You can just swing with her and then stand her back up after you do your triple drive, and then use the boost you may or may not have for, and then attack again, so you get multi-attack with her. Which getting extra attacks is always a good thing. I really like her for Persona Ride turns. You need to use this card, at the right time, and I think she is highly effective at applying pressure on those Persona Ride turns, especially when you're trying to get your opponent. You're trying to push them all the way to 5 as quick as possible so you can kill them on the next turn. Or if your opponent is, say, even at 4 when you Persona Ride for the first time, she instantly is going to apply so much more extra pressure because they can only take 1 attack. And if you can stack your deck properly with Hexaorb's effect, you're going to have a lot of extra power that they're going to have to deal with. So I really like Lepisto. So that is Hexaorb Sorceress. It's short, it's sweet, there's not a whole lot of explanation needed. This deck is pretty straightforward. The numbers this deck can create, the numbers this deck can generate is absolutely insane. I really enjoy playing the deck. It is a lot of fun. It is the best option for Cater Sanctuary at the moment, in my opinion. I think this deck will only get better. I think eventually it will get surpassed by Bastion. I think Bastion will get a lot better in the future, especially once it gets more defensive options. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this deck profile. Make sure you leave a like, comment, subscribe if you already haven't. Leave any thoughts you have below or questions. If there is a certain deck that you guys do want to see, please feel free to ask and I'll see what I can do. You are going to be getting a updated Snow deck profile and a Magnolia deck profile from me eventually. I just got to finish my builds of those, and then you'll be getting those. And so I guess that is it, guys. So I hope you've enjoyed this, and I hope you're all doing well wherever you may be. See you later.